Mike, talk us through it. We've got Putin and Trump speaking, looking to build bridges. Meanwhile, we get evidence that hackers of a foreign government, and it seems a Russian government here, are looking to potentially infiltrate the infrastructure of the US. How do we know that they're Russian?
You know, I think that's right. It's like, I think one of the things that's going on is that, the confluence of the meeting and the news breaking about these hacks on power plants shows that there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, even as the two leaders are meeting. I think that in terms of the Russian, like how you determine that these are Russian hackers, you have both private security companies who are in the plants themselves doing this, but also the FBI and the NSA are involved in the attribution. Everyone that we talked to, which was multiple sources, said that all fingers seem to be pointed at this point to Russia. I think part of the context of this is, and why the U.S. government is so worried, is that in the last 2 years, the Russian hackers took down the Ukrainian power grid 2 different times, and they keep getting more sophisticated, as if they're using the Ukraine as kind of a test bed for this kind of stuff. So when suddenly hackers that seem to be connected to Russia start hitting a dozen power plants in the U.S., including nuclear power plants, it makes them very, very nervous.
I mean, fascinating, really. I want to get David's opinion of, you know, it seems to be not a matter of if, but when. How concerned as a member of the U.S. population are you?
You mean when we start losing power because the Russians are not turning it off? I hope that's not true. And I think actually, you know, as Mike pointed out, you know, cyber forensics are actually much better than a lot of people realize. And while hacking is a real problem, the detection is improving as a science as well. But I think it's another thing I frankly slightly disagree with Mike about is the idea that the U.S. government is really worried, because if we were, then I think our president would be making this a bigger concern. I don't really think President Trump is worried about this, even though you could make the case that the Russian government is in effect waging a kind of war on our economy. And if, you know, we really are so worried that power plants might start going out because of their behavior, we should be taking action, you know, at least in terms of our jawboning and public statements and treating the way this is seriously at the UN and elsewhere much differently than we are. I don't hear that kind of talk coming from Washington.